Yeah, so do you have any jokes to tell?
Um, Maybe Dean will have a girlfriend one day.
Okay, so my day roughly starts at 7:30 a.m. and I like to wake up by myself without the use of an alarm. So I find that if you have the same sort of sleep cycle and the same sort of sleep schedule for several days in a row, then your brain sort of starts to wake up by itself at that same time. And I feel like that's a lot nicer than having to be jarred awake by your alarm. So straight after I wake up, I'm probably feeling a little bit groggy still, so I head straight to the bathroom and splash some water on my face, brush my teeth, just try to wake up a bit more. Started to brush my teeth with my left hand, so my non-dominant hand. That's because surgeons will always tell you that to improve your dexterity with your non-dominant hand, you should try to do a lot of your daily activities with that hand. So that includes things like brushing your teeth, having food. So I've been trying to make this a habit and hopefully improve my dexterity in the long run. And just to freshen up, I'll head into the shower. Now, admittedly, I probably take showers that are a bit too long, probably like 10 to 15 minutes, which I'm pretty sure is longer than the recommended time. But I really like showers because they're just really refreshing, they're really calming. I usually have a bit of nasal congestion in the morning as well, so taking a shower usually helps to get rid of that. And it's kind of just time I use to recover and just slowly get myself in the zone. Since I do probably take showers for too long, I've started doing this thing where I take in my phone inside a Glad wrap bag so that it doesn't get wet, and then I start doing some flashcards. Usually I can do about 10 to 20 flashcards, which is pretty decent, and I use a software called Anki, which I'll talk a lot more about later in a few minutes. And we're off to breakfast. So I'm the type of person who has a really horrible appetite in the mornings. Feels almost like a chore to try and get in solid food. I just really don't feel like eating. So to counter this, instead of solid meals, I just make really calorie-dense shakes. Firstly, it's really easy to take in liquid calories instead of like solid food. And secondly, this also tastes really nice. So that's another bonus. So normally what I'll do is I'll put in a scoop of Wool 1 protein powder. I'll put in probably about 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. So peanut butter is really high in calories and it also tastes really nice. So for a person like me who's just trying to get in more calories, it's quite a high yield ingredient. And finally I just added some milk. So overall this equates to about 500 calories, give or take 20 to 30 calories probably. And that makes for a nice calorie dense, tasty breakfast. It's a really nice sunny day today and I'm ready to start my first block of study. So following on from the recommendations of a previous video of ours, I've thought about all the tasks that I need to get done in order to feel like I've studied and prepared well for this examination. Afterwards, I've slotted them all into a timetable, which we have on screen right now. So looking back at this first session, I was able to get 4 hours done, which is pretty impressive. I haven't done that in a while. It was probably easier because I knew that I was doing it for the video, so I was probably a bit more motivated than normal. Obviously there are times when I do get distracted, but I feel like in the morning session, it's a lot easier to stay focused just because, straight after you wake up, your mind is kind of like flushed and it's fresh, sort of free from distractions. I'll also just talk about this book that I'm using. So I'm using this book called Oxford Cases in Medicine and Surgery to study for my OSCE. And it's pretty much this really simplified, well-structured book where they go through common presentations. So common complaints that a patient might come in with and they talk you through what questions you should ask, the common types of investigations that you should look for, and all of that sort of jazz. So I've been using this quite a bit for the past month and I'll probably use it a lot more in the lead up for my OSCE exam. Okay, so it's been pretty much 4 hours. I basically did that with no breaks. It's been a long time since I've been able to do that. Feeling really hungry, so let's go get some food. Usually I try to cook about 2 times a week and I try to meal prep for the rest of the days. That's because 1, it saves time, 2, I'm too lazy, and 3, I'm a pretty bad cook, so sometimes I just buy things from outside. And since I'm not a very sophisticated chef, I cook very simple meals. So today, the goal is, I'm not sure if it'll actually turn out this way, but the goal is to make rice, spinach, and some steak. Not too hard, hopefully. So the first thing I was to just get my rice out, put in some water, up to the depth of your furthest interphalangeal joint, the Asian way. So I actually don't have a rice cooker. I had a rice cooker, but it sort of broke on me. So now I just use this spot and it's kind of the same sort of thing. So as for the spinach, you just have to heat it up. And the thing about spinach is that when it heats up, it shrivels to like a lot smaller than what you expect it to be. Now the steak, so this is the main sort of part of this meal. Put in some salt and pepper, cook it on a pan for 4 to 5 minutes on each side, and when you sort of approach the end, so for about the last minute that you're cooking the steak, you put in some butter, you let the butter melt, and then you scoop up the melted sort of butter and you like scoop it onto the steak. And this makes it taste like super nice. Yeah, so overall, pretty simple meal. The actual cooking process took roughly 21 or 22 minutes for this, so I guess that's okay.
Hey guys, so for this next 2-hour block of study, I'm going to do it whilst walking outside. So I'm going to do some Anki flashcards. Part of the reason I'm doing this is because of the midday slump. So due to our body's natural circadian rhythms, we tend to feel especially sleepy after lunch. And so to combat this, I'm just trying to stay active, trying to stay walking. Yeah, and that's another reason why I really like Anki. You can pretty much do it wherever you are.
Cool, spent about 2 hours walking outside, back to study at my desk. So when you're in that sort of that study mood, it's a lot easier to keep on studying. So these really like long study sessions, like 3 hours, 4 hours, it sounds really scary at first, but actually after you get going, after you do like an hour for example, it's a lot easier to just stay in that same mindset and just keep going. So in this particular session, I was pretty trained. I'd already been studying for about 6 hours that day, and to just start studying that first bit at my desk, I started to use Pomodoro technique. So as we sort of discussed in a previous video, the Pomodoro technique is a way that you can use to sort of ease yourself into study. So it's classically split into study sessions of 25 minutes each, split by a 5-minute break. So it's a lot easier to just tell yourself, okay, look, I'm just going to sit here and study for 25 minutes than to aim, okay, I'm going to study for like 2 hours or whatever. By splitting your study into manageable chunks like these 25-minute blocks, it's a lot easier to just get yourself going. So that's what I had to resort to here because I was feeling a bit tired. In my second block of 4 hours of study, I probably did it over the course of 5 hours because I needed to take study breaks. I've been watching this Korean drama called It's Okay to Not Be Okay. Basically, I guess it's a romance story. It's about a nurse from a psychiatric hospital, and there's a children's book author who has some sort of antisocial personality disorder, and it's about how they kind of heal each other's wounds. Hello. Yes, the screen recording is working now. How can I help you today?
Okay, so I just have had this annoying pain on my wrist from the morning.
Okay.
It's actually really painful.
It's been really painful? Right, okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a bit more about it?
We're going to go to the rural clinical school now to study with some friends for like a 2-hour block maybe. Also, to save time whilst driving, I have this old little shoelace thingy here which I can use to practice tying surgical knots around the steering wheel during traffic lights. Efficiency, right Austin?
Excellent. You're the best.
Oh,
Oh, my hair. No, screw this.
this is my flatmate. He's a pretty good flatmate. So this is the tea room that we're studying in, and this is another friend from uni. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, so do you have any jokes to tell?
Maybe Dineth will have a girlfriend one day.
Is that a joke to you? Is that a joke to you? Okay.
The good thing about studying with friends is that it's a really good way to stay motivated. If you're in a group of people who have similar sort of study goals to you, then it's really motivating when like together you're trying to team up and tackle down exams. The downside of studying with friends is that you both might get pretty distracted, start talking about other things, just start playing around, have fun. So it's important to try to make sure that you're both motivated and you both have a clear sense of what you want to achieve in your like study session, right?
Please get a good ride. Yeah.
So I've probably fallen a little bit behind schedule. I think that's because my dinner break went over an hour. I still have about an hour and a half of study left to go, and it's already 10:20 and I haven't even exercised yet for the day. So by the time I get to the 12 hours study and after I've done some exercise, it'll probably be a little bit past midnight. So I'm moving on into a more sort of low intensity task, which is that I'm going to be just reading some articles. So what's the rationale for this? So firstly, it's out of interest. So the articles that I am going to read are about neurosurgery, and that's an area which I think is interesting. Secondly, reading these sort of articles makes me more accustomed to just interpreting research articles, and I sort of get more used to the structure of a research article and how to write a research article, which will help for my own research. And thirdly, our assignments now in uni are slowly becoming, I guess, more and more like actual research articles. So by getting accustomed to this sort of writing, I anticipate that I'll be able to produce better assignments. So after pretty much 12 hours of study for the day, it's already a little bit past midnight and I still haven't even exercised. To be honest, studying for 12 hours is no easy feat, so I'm already pretty happy with what I've accomplished, but just to make this day a bit more complete and sort of just to make this more holistic day in the life video, I decided to try to put in maybe half an hour of intense exercising. After you finish exercising, you generally feel pretty good. So exercise releases endorphins. It just makes you feel really good, just really pumped up and ready to go. So since it's harder to concentrate mentally on tasks since you're feeling drowsy and tired, sometimes it might be better to just spend that time on exercise so you can get some endorphins pumping and revitalize yourself. So that's how I studied for 12 hours in one day. Looking back, I think the most important part of that entire process was how the night before I sat down and actually planned particular chunks of time to study for. As always, please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.